Tom Marks with the Marks Law Firm in Orlando, Florida, and welcome to the Healthy Family Law Attorney. We have a special guest with us today. We're going to talk about a little bit about tax law and about the stimulus checks and some other things that I think will be helpful to family law clients. So let's begin. Michelle Wynn is a Central Florida native. She graduated with her legal studies degree from the University of Central Florida in 2008. Little known fact, she actually worked for me when she was in her undergrad at UCF for 2 years at the Marks Law Firm. So we have quite a long history together. Michelle went on to law school at Quinnipiac University School of Law in Connecticut, where she graduated Magna Cum Laude and received a tax concentration designation with honors in 2011. She spent a year working for the University School of Law Tax Clinic, assisting low-income taxpayers resolve disputes with the IRS. She moved on to a tax controversy law firm in Connecticut, where she quickly became the partner in charge of the Tax Resolution Department, the Offshore Compliance Department, and the Tax Filing Department. She returned home to Florida in 2017, opened her own law firm, Wynn Tax Law, that's W-Y-N-N, where she partners with her clients to resolve tax disputes with the IRS, mostly in areas of IRS Collections, Audits, and innocent spouse requests. So I know that was a lot. Michelle, tell us, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Well, good. So tell us a little bit more about yourself personally.
Well, I live out here on the Space Coast, my office in Melbourne. I live in northern Brevard County with my husband, 2 kids, 2 dogs, and 4 cats. As we start to work together to build a little farm out here, hopefully to be raising chickens and goats in the near term.
Well, that sounds interesting for someone like myself who has a orchard of fruit trees and chickens, and we have a dog and 4 cats. So we're a little bit behind you there, but I'm sure that keeps you busy.
Well, my 2 dogs are much smaller than yours, so maybe it equals out there.
Well, that's true. I have a larger boxer, and he is my 7th boxer. I've had boxers my entire life, and he is my joy. His name's Maverick.
Yeah,
Anyway.
We've got little Scout and Gem, 2 little tiny mutts that are each about 20 pounds. So.
Oh, I bet they're fun. So listen, you're in the NADP, which is the National Association of Divorce Professionals. Can you tell our audience a little bit about it and what it's meant to you?
Well, what NADP is it's a group of professionals from many different fields that can all get pulled into the divorce arena or family law arena or different issues. So really we get to learn from each other, network with each other, and really get to build friendships. And in the course of that, we get to meet great other professionals that we know we can trust, and we can confidently refer our clients to them when we have a problem that needs more than what we alone can do.
Right. It's been a great group to be a part of. So let's jump right in. So Michelle, let's talk stimulus payments. It's a hot topic. In my divorce cases, clients are getting stimulus checks. Divorced clients who alternate claiming the children in even and odd years can do some special stuff there. So tell us a little bit about the stimulus checks.
So with the stimulus payments, the way the law was written, it's actually very favorable to parents who alternate years for when they claim their children, because essentially, let's say the wife files her returns claiming the kids in odd years, husband files his returns claiming the kids in even years. Well, the mom would have likely gotten the $1,400 stimulus payment in January of 2021 based on her 2019 tax return. But when the husband goes to file his tax return for 2020, he can also claim the stimulus payments for the same kids. And the wife will have to repay the stimulus payment she received, and he'll get to claim the stimulus payments with his return.
Wow, that's crazy. So the wife would not have to repay it, and the husband, or I guess their former wife and former husband at that point, but the former husband could claim, and I guess theoretically both parents could get the stimulus payment
Correct.
in the full amount.
Correct.
As
long as they meet the other income thresholds and meet the other requirements, they can both keep it.
Well, I hadn't heard that before, so I doubt many people are aware of that. So that's very helpful information. I always say, to my audience and my clients, I believe your family matters. And so I want to provide hope and help to your family to successfully navigate the family law process in a healthy way. And that's very helpful information. So thank you for that, Michelle. So I also have current clients going through a divorce, so not divorced yet, and one of them may receive one of the stimulus payments, and another one receives others in different amounts. So do you have any ideas how the parties or the clients at that point can divide up those stimulus checks?
Well, what I recommend is something that I've used in the past for normal tax refunds, especially very large ones, but it can apply just as well with these stimulus payments, is that whichever of the spouses has an attorney on their case, if they both have attorneys, what they can do is sign over the checks to the attorneys, have the attorneys then split out the payment equally, or using whatever formula you both agree to, and then have the attorney issue that payment out to both sides. Essentially, it puts a third party in the middle, so that way you know that the funds are going to go as you agreed to.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm happy to do that in my practice. We have a trust account that we can deposit the checks once they clear, cut checks to both of the mom and dad. I think you had another idea also about having the IRS reissue the checks.
Yes, in this one, I'm not certain whether it would work or not, but it's an idea that I've developed for if a couple filed married filing jointly. So then the IRS would issue the checks to both of them jointly if they're receiving paper checks. But if they are able to then return those checks with an injured spouse request, that may cause the IRS to then reissue the checks to each individual separately.
Okay.
So no guarantees that that's going to work, but I think it's probably the best route to take. That's also what you would want to do if your stimulus payments are subject to getting taken for if your current spouse or ex-spouse that you filed with has child support obligations. That's the one thing that your stimulus payment can be reached for. So if you've got a spouse or an ex-spouse that you're going to get a joint stimulus check, you want to make sure you file injured spouse request so that way it's not taken for the overdue child support.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. So another big issue that I run into with clients is what's known as the innocent spouse protection or provision with the IRS, not to be confused with the injured spouse provision that you just mentioned, but can you tell us what the innocent spouse provision is and how does a client apply for that?
So innocent spouse is the recognition that sometimes, often, one spouse will be in charge of a tax filing, or one spouse perhaps has a business or has different investments that the other spouse doesn't know about. I'm sure this probably happens more frequently in the divorce realm than in the rest of the area, but So essentially what innocent spouse is if you owe a balance due to the IRS that's due to your spouse's income, not yours, or if you're being audited for a potential additional tax assessment related to your spouse or ex-spouse's income, you can file a request with the IRS for innocent spouse relief. And in doing so, the IRS, if you meet all the qualifications for it, what the IRS will do is relieve the one spouse from a tax liability attributable to the other spouse. There are some very complex rules about what sort of relief can be given under what circumstances. So I definitely recommend having professional help with these. The process can get complicated. It can take a long time. So it's best to have somebody who's familiar with the process there with you.
Right. I have a client right now that just went through that process and just got the letter from the IRS that did award her the innocent spouse protection. So taxes, let's talk big picture. There's a lot of different tax implications in family law cases, depending on your circumstances, whether you have a complex tax structure you may be aware of or not. But one of the areas that we run into a lot in our settlement agreements is for retirement plans. And because retirement plans are tax impacted, or you made tax deductible contributions, talk to our audience about how those retirement plans should be divided and what the tax implications are.
All right. Well, the key with retirement plans, especially in the realm of a divorce, but anytime you're looking at splitting a retirement plan, it's often one of the largest assets that get involved for most people, is that you don't want to take the money out of the plan. Taking a distribution from the plan, whoever took that distribution, whoever's name is on the plan at that time, that person will be taxed on it. And if they don't meet the requirements if they don't meet the age requirements, they'll also be subject to an additional 10% penalty on the withdrawal. So instead, they can use what's called a QDRO, we pronounce quadro in the field, that allows you to divide the retirement plan between the two spouses without actually taking any money out of the plan. And that is something that your family law attorney should be able to get that in place, so that way you can still split the retirement plan, but without having the tax consequences as a result.
Right. I recently did a video on quadros, qualified domestic relations orders, and how we do those and some of the issues surrounding that. So if anybody has a question, they can look at that prior video. I send out my quadros to other lawyers that specialize in that area, because I do believe they're an area of specialty. Another area of specialty is tax. So you'll see in marital settlement agreements a standard provision that says that your family law attorney is not a tax expert, is not a CPA or a tax attorney. So we always do recommend that you do talk to a tax professional like Michelle. So in all my videos, because this is the healthy family law attorney, I always ask my interviewee, sounds like a funny term, but sorry, but the person I'm interviewing, do you have a healthy tip for our audience today?
I do. Actually, when it comes to divorcing spouses, one of the things that we overlook a lot is the toll it can take on your mental health. So really, whatever step you can take to guard and protect your mental health during this process, it's often a long, grueling process. And either way, the end of a marriage is something that is going to be inherently stressful. So whether it's meditation or mindfulness, or just going out and getting a massage once a month, whatever it takes to make you feel recharged, refreshed, and relaxed, it's what you want to do for yourself to help keep your mind in a healthy state so that you can get through the process and hopefully get to the other side, maybe even better off than you were before.
Well, Michelle, I totally agree with that. And that's part of the healthy perspective of this channel. And I love to hear that because I really do believe it's important for family law clients to take care of themselves and to keep a really healthy perspective and a strong physical and emotional and mental state. So thank you for that, Michelle. If you have enjoyed this video today, I always ask that would you please hit that like and subscribe button. I guess they're separate buttons, but please like the videos and subscribe and hit that bell icon for future notices. I'm shooting new legal content video every Wednesday and doing interviews every Friday. I would say too, share this content with somebody you know that you think it may be helpful to. Be that kind of encourager or that support for other people. That's also a healthy perspective. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below or a question and we'll be happy to get back to you. So with that, Michelle, thanks so much for being part of the channel today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It's always good to see you, and I'm glad we're still friends after, almost 15 years of knowing each other, and thanks for being part of our NADP chapter.
Well, it's great to talk to you as always.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. And for our audience, have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.